So, folks, wow. Give you guys a little something different tonight. Probably not really going to be on too long. I know you're laughing. A couple pages from my book. I'm going to go ahead and read them to you. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys hear what I've got on some of these pages. I keep telling myself I don't want to be saying that sounds like shit. Anyway, alright, so what I'm gonna do is, like I just said, I'm gonna read a couple pages out of my book. This is pretty much like the beginning, a bit of it. Just telling you what's going on and stuff. I'm coming in hot, coming into this world and what I'm starting to see as I get here and what's going on as I get here. So let's see what you think. Hope everybody's good. Hope everybody had a good Sunday. My Eagles didn't win, but all their rivals in the division did. So those motherfuckers got a little closer to us. Whatever. I hope your team won. The Raiders won. That's good for some people. Fucking being too. Shit. My brother, he's a Raider fan too. Anyway. All right. What do you guys think? Sound like a good idea to play a little bit of this, do a little bit of this book? Huh? Give you guys a little taste or something? Lemon and pepper. All right, so check it out. I guess you could always go back and check it out. But here we go, all right? Here we go. What a trip. Life started in Boyle Heights at the start of the 70s for me. I think my name is Chris. That is, I was given many names. Mom and Pops gave it a go, but they were just too different. Never really have memories of them together. As a couple, somehow, that didn't matter. As a couple, that is, see them together as a couple. Somehow that didn't matter. And when I was old enough, I wondered how I ever came to existence, laughing out loud. I could not see the two people I came to know together in a relationship, but they were always there for me. They were there for me every moment of my life, and I can never thank them enough for all the love they have given me in my life. That's why I did it. That's why it didn't matter to me if I ever remembered them together. My dad says they met through a drummer and good friend of his named Alex. I guess they might have practiced at Alex's pad and met there. My mom was Alex's neighbor. Boy, how the hell did I get here? Laughing out loud. If it wasn't for certain events and some passion, I would not be sitting here writing about this journey about my journey through this asteroid field called life. I grew up in Boyle Heights and East LA. My mom lived in Boyle Heights and my dad in East LA. Two totally different places, Boyle Heights and East LA. For me, anyway. Boyle Heights was still inhabited by others who had been there for years. Japanese, Russian, Jewish, and Italian. And us Mexicans. Same with East Los. But Boyle Heights had more apartments and is closer to the city, downtown that is. East LA was mostly family homes and mostly part of an unincorporated part of town called Maravilla. My mom's family lived on South St. Louis Street, directly in front of Hollenbeck Park. The landlord was an old grumpy Jewish man named Mr. Bruner. He was a character. He lived upstairs in the unit above us. But he was a character. My grandmother was a proud what? Was the most proud person. Shit. She should She showed me love, but in her own ways. She was kind of hard on my mom, but my mom worked hard and became independent quite early on. The neighbors were our friends, and I grew up with my cousins and the kids next door, the Martinez family. Third Street, White Fence, and First Street were the primary gangs there. Yes, I found out early about gangs, heard of fights, bumperjackings, and stabbings. Then the sound of gunshots became normal somehow. Anyway, my dad's family lived on Bonnie Beach Place, the 500 North Block, just at the foot of the City Terrace Hills and north of Brooklyn Avenue in the unincorporated town of Maravilla. The neighborhood was mostly family houses, like a suburb. Most families had been there for years and all knew each other. What's up, honeybees? My grandfather's dad, Don Victoriano, was a carpenter. He built many structures in the neighborhood and also did the catacombs at Olvera Street. My grandfather was also a hardworking man who was in World War II, stationed in Italy, then came home to my grandmother and started his own family. My grandmother came from a prominent family, was well off. Her uncles were farmers. They owned silver farms in Salinas. My grandmother worked as a bookkeeper for the family's tortilla factory. It was the first in the region. My dad, out of high school at Cathedral, had his mind on being a guitar player while he was working regular jobs and being a car salesman at Felix Chevrolet. Anyway, those are a couple of little pages right there out of my book. That's basically the beginning of where I came from and where I ended up being. There's a lot more pages that, show my childhood, but the good stuff is everywhere. There's little things everywhere in this book. I just wanted to share that a little bit with you guys because I needed to put a little bit out there, So after that, we go into me growing up as a youngster, me going to Breeze Street School in Boyle Heights right there, me going to visit my dad, me not seeing my dad for a minute, because my mom and him had some kind of issues and stuff. And I didn't see my dad for a while. But he never gave up. And eventually everybody, we all did our thing and we were cool after that. But the things that I saw and learned in both areas, Boyle Heights and over here in East Los, were very different to me. Everybody, my dad even says, nah, everybody's the same across the board, Boyle Heights and East Los. The only thing he said is like the dividing line is somewhere along Lorena. And it was basically because, half of them went to Garfield and the other half went to Roosevelt. I went to Roosevelt, by the way, because I was still living, like at the edge of Boyle Heights at that time when high school came around. But then I just went everywhere after that. I went to Bosco after that and Rosemead. Anyway, so So yeah, so we get to there, but I'm talking about like across the street from Hollenbeck Park, like my mom's side. Um, Grew up hearing the guys and seeing the guys from Third hanging out at the benches right in front of the parking lot um, of the park right there, and you would hear them, getting high or whatever, having a good time, or sometimes it looked like they had a meeting and they were up to something. Um, you never know, but I was just a little fucking kid. And I started, realizing certain things. And I saw a couple of things, people running after other people, or, the words were said and stuff. And then in the nighttime, I could hear rumbles or whatever, or eventually it came to gunshots in the park. I'd hear a couple, bah, 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 and the neighbors, the Martinez's, one of the daughters there, she was a little old. She was older. Her name was Carmen, and she used to take care of us. She used to take care of me because my brother wasn't born yet. And what was going on is that I had a crush on her. She's pretty. So when I heard the gunshots, when we heard the gunshots, she got a little scared or whatever, and I was like, "What's up, baby girl?" I was like, "It's okay. I'll protect you." I pulled out my little Red Ryder fucking BB gun. I just throw dirt in there and shoot it like a shotgun. Um, but like I remember her face when I said that. She was like, "Oh my god, that's so cute." She had one of those faces like, "Oh my god, you're willing to protect me." I'm just this little fucking kid, But already being that guy, that's gonna, protect whoever I'm around. If you're my peeps, you're my peeps. That's it, Anyway, so I got to learn that stuff. My uncle had I want to say it's like a 65, 60, 66 Impala, right? And my other uncle, through marriage, but hell of an uncle, my Uncle Richard, he was helping my Uncle Beanie Boy. We used to call him Beanie Boy, my Uncle Robert. And he was helping him with the car, and he was underneath, right? He was underneath the car, and something had happened. The jackets that went down or something like that. What's up, funny money? The jack had messed up, and the car actually was sitting on my Uncle Richard's fucking chest. And I was right there, standing right next to the car. I was watching them on the sidewalk because they were doing it on the street right there, right in front of the house. Because that's where they did it. Anyway, I remember my Uncle Robert going as fast as he could to go get the jack and jack it up. So he got it up finally, and they got my uncle out, and he was winded and stuff. And he was like, "Oh my God," everybody was like, "Oh my God, oh my God." And I was just right there. And then they were like, "Get the kid inside." They didn't say that, but they were like, get little Chris in the house or whatever. But I already saw everything. It wasn't anything more for me to see other than, what was going to happen to him, or if he got hurt or this, that. He ended up being okay. I don't know really what happened to him physically, but I remember that he was okay. And I had saw him like a day or two later, and he was like, "Don't worry, mijo, I'm good." And I was like, "All right, cool." I was like, "Yeah." That was a little story that I had over there in Boyle Heights growing up. I must have been like 4 or 5 years old, something like that. Maybe 6, I don't know. And that was an experience I had there. My grandmother was married to this man, my grandfather, that I called at the time. My grandfather, Arino Super. We used to call him Grandpa Super. He had a whatchamacallit. He had a catering truck, right? And they used to park it every Sunday right there at the entrance, up on the curb where the parking lot is at Hollenbeck Park. And we used to go to church every Sunday, and after church, we'd go over there to my grandfather's spot right there. And he used to be like, "Damn, here come these fucking kids again." But, he was joking around, but he had that attitude. He's like, "What do you want?" And then he knew we were going to ask for something to eat, either a burrito, a Ramona's burrito, the beef and potato, or something like that, and some chips and a drink, right? Sometimes he'd even kick, we'd ask for some, some gum, like a little whatchamacallit, what's up, Bing, a little Bing, fucking Jess. Um, Sometimes we'd get like a little fucking juicy fruit, the little 5-pack or whatever. Anyway, it was pretty cool having him have the catering truck there, because we knew after church we were gonna go and get what we wanted, and so that was part of the life there. My aunt with my uncle Richard, who I told you about, that the car fell on him, they lived a couple houses down, and we had like 2 or 3 houses right there in front of the park, in front of Hollenbeck Park. It was all family. Um, Even the neighbors, like I was telling you, they used to babysit us. That's fucking family, man. Anyway, so that was Boyle Heights, the Boyle Heights half of it, over my mom's side and stuff. And my mom was always working. She wanted to do her thing as soon as possible, and then we ended up getting an apartment next door, and we had our own thing going. That was pretty soon. Yeah, my mom and dad, like I told you, they didn't. I don't know how they ever got together, because they're two different people. They're two very different kind of people. So we did this thing here where I had to go see my dad finally, and I started to know what Bonnie Beach is about over in East Los. Now, Bonnie Beach is way different because, like I said, all the families know each other, right? So I had more freedom there because everybody was watching for everybody's kids, and I could go from our house on Bonnie Beach down the street to Hamel, and then over to the corner store, which is where that mural on Blood In, Blood Out is. It's right across the street from the church. And like as youngsters, we could just come and go throughout that, we could come and go as we please, pretty much, to the store and back. We had to let people know, but they knew that the kids were around somewhere. And I had my cousins over there too, and I started playing football there because football's a big thing. My dad's side, that's where the Bonnie Beach Bombers came from, and I got my team, as I probably told you guys a couple of times. The Eagles. I was sitting there with my grandfather and my dad in the living room, eating my Chris and Pitt's barbecue sauce with Fritos and root beer. My dad and his dad, my grandfather, having a beer, watching the game. They sit there and they ask me, "Who's your team?" And I said, "The Eagles." And they're like, "Okay, all right." So that ever since then, it's always been the Eagles. Because I like the color and I like the helmet, I like the wings. I was like, yeah, and the eagle is one of my favorite animals. So anyway, Bonnie Beach was a trip because I had my uncles who are crazy. Trust me, they're fucking crazy, but they're good people. And my aunt, she's, you have one of those, they're all young. They're all like 20s, maybe, something like that. I think, my uncle might have been in his teens. Let's see, when I was born in 70, and my uncle was 10. So by the time like 1980 came around, my uncle was about 20 or so, and he's the baby of the bunch, right? And, okay, so it's my dad, it's my Uncle Edward, then it's my Aunt Diane, and then it's my Uncle Mamo, Morrow. And my Uncle Edward was a trip. My Uncle Edward was far ahead of his time. He knew a lot of things. People gravitated to him and loved him. Like, they just fucking did. He did crazy things. He'll make you think out of the box. He is a mechanic, or he's a car creator or a vehicle creator or something like that. I keep saying fuck. The guy was great. The guy was great. He succumbed to his downfall, which was drugs, at a pretty early age for for him. I mean, he was like let's see, he was like 30 something, early 30s, mid 30s, and it was a sad situation when he was when we found him dead. When my little cousin found him dead. But they had reputations in the hood that you don't fuck with him or any of them. My dad too, my dad, my uncles, all the guys on the block, around the block, a couple blocks down, whatever. Like I said, in this area, everybody knew everybody, and everybody backed up. All the families backed each other up, So it was a different. That's why I say it was a different world from Boyle Heights for me, because in East Los over there with my dad, I could roll and there were people. Hey, what's up, little Vic? What's up, Chris? And these are like veteranos and other guys, just straight guys, but crazy fools that had bikes, bikers and whatnot. And the shit was, what's up, Rich? Did I say that already? And it was a different scene, and I felt like more freedom there, more something there, and then being around all that machismo and stuff. And then there was drugs. Okay, there was drugs. Drugs were there. Mainly weed. I saw that they smoked weed, and I got it. I was like, okay, they smoke something that smells a little funny, but they don't act they don't act all different. At least all I saw is their eyes would get low and a little red, and they'd be laughing a lot. And of course, beer was around. Didn't really see hard drugs till later, or maybe they didn't let me see hard drugs. If they were doing them at that time, I don't know, because they dabbled in them. And like I said, my uncle succumbed to heroin. That was his demise. My Uncle Edward. No, my other uncle, the younger one, I don't know how he survived, because he did that shit a lot, and there was a lot of times that we called the ambulance, that we put him in the shower, try to wake his ass up and shit. Oh, really, Funny Money? What the fuck? Yeah, so see, I didn't get that kind of treatment, but it was around and stuff, and I knew, and I saw like my other cousins and stuff high on that shit. I saw one of them throwing up blood out of a white pickup truck. So imagine out the door, it's white, the door's white, but you see nothing but blood just dripping down the side. A kid shouldn't be seeing that shit, or seeing like the same cousin Bernie, fucking Boom Boom from Montevilla, running up and down the street naked, his big fat ass saying, as this was when the Olympics, the 84 Olympics were happening, he's like, Victor, Victor, victory. Oh my God, the dude was fucking crazy. There was a lot of craziness there, and I grew up with them, and my Uncle Edward, he taught me about cars. He had me around his cars. He would be like, come on, help me out with this, help me out with that. And what's crazy is that he was probably best friends with my stepfather, my brother's dad. Now that's another character in my life, and I would call from East Los and from my Bonnie Beach days. He was always good to me. He treated me like a son. He never treated me like like what you would call, stepson, stepdad bullshit back then. And he was really good with cars. He built some of the baddest cars in East Los ever, and bikes and vans and everything you could think of. I'm talking about 30s, 30 hot rods and shit, and Harleys and stuff. So my Uncle Edward, he was building this Harley from scratch, and we had two houses on Bonnie Beach on the property. We had the back house, which is my grandmother's house, which is the bigger house, big 4-bedroom and stuff. And then we had the front house, which was the original house on the property that had 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, living room, dining room, all that shit, kitchen. Well, my uncle Edward was living in the front house at that time because, believe it or not, the brothers, they kind of each had their time living in that house in the front. So my uncle Edward was living up there at this point in time when he was building his bike, and he built it in the fucking living room. He built it in the living room, and the homies from the neighborhood who knew about motorcycles and shit, they'd come and help him. And my stepfather would come too. He'd come and help him. So it was a trip for me to see that they were getting along. And my dad and my stepfather, they always got along cool. You know, there was no beef or whatever. You know, my dad and my mom were done, and that was it. And he used to come over, and sometimes he'd pick me up when he was there, you know. We had this crazy thing going on, you know. My childhood was a trip, man. And that's a bit of Bonnie Beach and a bit of St. Louis, South St. Louis, and Boyle Heights. That's a bit of where I came from and what you know, where it started. So, you know, I was a kid that used to get to go in the room where my uncles and aunt were smoking weed. I was the one kid that was the only one allowed in there. Other kids had to stay out, but Chrissy could come in. So I'd go in, I'd see what they're doing. I was like, whatever, you know, and I just start fiddling around with things, checking out the seeds. I used to get the seeds, eat them like peanuts, you know. Oh my God. But what do you say? Over at the Familia site, you know, check it out. They got 3 big donations for the Christmas charity thing happening. Oh wow, that's cool. Get down, man, get down. So that's what started it. Then I started seeing, you know, things started changing. You know, 1980, I lost my uncle Artie, who was my dad's like brother. I mean, they were getting into music. They were doing their thing. I had so much support on my dad's side right there with all my uncles and aunts and stuff. They used to just light up when they saw me. Chrissy or Keaton, what's going on? They had different names for me, like I said in the beginning of my thing. They were crazy folks in their own right, but they would take the time to spend some time with me, take me to the store. When we got a new refrigerator, when my grandparents got a new big refrigerator, because I always had the double door refrigerators, they made me a house out of the box and shit. And I would play in there. I think I had it for like 2 weeks till they just threw it away, and I got tired of playing in it. But I'll tell you one thing. I used to get a hold of the joint and blow, because I didn't know if they were doing blowing or sucking. So I used to blow, you know, and I'd see the thing light up. And I used to be like, oh, dale, you know, but I really wasn't fucking smoking. I didn't learn how to do that till a bit later, you know. I want to say about 11 or 12 or something like that. You know, me and my cousin Anthony, if I can find a couple of roaches that these fools will leave behind, and let's go light it up. Fuck it. And then there came the crust. Crust started, you know, he had his first taste of smoke, but I didn't really start smoking until like I was 17, something like that. When I moved into my grandmother's house on Bonnie Beach, that's when I started smoking like daily. It just started happening. I was just like, fuck this. It became a marijuana. And I spent most of my time there. I didn't, you know, I'd go to my grandmother's on St. Louis, but a lot of the growing up I did was on Bonnie Beach. There's some other stuff and some other stories on St. Louis that I remember. But the main thing was Bonnie Beach. That's why most of my story is on Bonnie Beach. But, oh, really, Honeybees? So, back over on St. Louis, we used to have this apartment up on the top behind the neighbor's house, right? our friends, the neighbors, our good friends, the neighbors, the babysitters and shit. My mom and my daddy Tony, who I was telling you about, who was over there working on my uncle, my dad's brother's bike and shit. He used to live with us, and my little cousins who are now in Colorado and shit. They they used to live there too. And we used to play outside and do all this stuff. But when he would come around, um, he's a biker guy. He's a fucking Harley Davidson dude and shit. He's one of the one of the real fucking East LA bikers from back in the day. Him with my uncle and a couple other guys out there. Anyway, he used to scare my for some reason my cousins, mainly girls, they would be afraid of him. They'd be like, "Oh, here he comes! Oh shit!" And he used to play along with it. Sometimes he would see them and he'd be looking at them like with a weird look, like but he's playing. He'd be looking like and then he'd go, and then they fucking jump and start running and shit. It was cool because I used to be like, "Yeah, get him." I used to laugh because I wasn't afraid of him for shit. I had no reason to be, That's another story from the St. Louis side. Anyway, I wanted to sit here and give you guys a little bit of that, and that part of the book, the beginning. And there's a hell of a lot more, man. There's a hell of a lot more. Anyway, yeah, that's kind of the foundation, the beginning. There's also school and the things that I saw and learned there. There's a bunch of stuff. What's up, babe? There's a bunch of stuff from growing up there in those two places that I learned. I wasn't going to Catholic school, but I was going to church every Sunday right there at St. Mary's. And my cousins my cousin Roxanne was going to that school. And we used to go to the functions. We used to stay after church for a while. We wouldn't get out of there for another hour after it already ended and stuff, and then we go to the park and we go to the catering truck what my grandfather had right there at the park at Hollenbach. And then we'd play around for there for a little bit. And then by then eventually we moved out of the apartment in on St. Louis up on top, and we moved to Pico Rivera. And so when we moved there, we didn't stay too long afterwards, after church too much anymore, because we had to drive and we wanted to go and get whatever else things that we needed to get done that day, and then get ready for work and school, my mom and me, and my daddy Tony too, and my brother Johnny had just came into the world. That's why we moved to Pico, so we could have our own little crib, and do our thing. It was a badass house. It was a cool house. It was a 2-bedroom house with 1 bath, nice kitchen, living room, dining room, big front yard, decent front yard, and a big backyard, garage, detached. I liked that place. That place was cool. It was fun. I had a little house. I said hi, babe. Or are you saying hey to who? They had there was a little cuartito outside in the back, and my mom said we could put all our toys back there, and that'd be like our plaything. So, in the night or during the day or whatever, me and Johnny just be playing in the backyard all the time. Me with my big wheel and him with his bike or whatever, or with our G.I. Joes, or fuck, we had all kinds of shit. Evel Knievel, all of our toys and stuff, and it was fun. I used to have this Peanuts hockey game where, like, there were characters, they would just turn like that, and you control them from underneath the board, and they were in slots, and you move them around and stuff. We had some cool shit going on, I love that house, and we had a dog. We had a dog of our own, and Johnny's dad lived with us, and he had his Harleys and his his hot rods there with us and stuff, and it was fucking dope. My mom had this badass Firebird with Kragers on it. The 350, shit, that thing moved, man, and she knows how to drive too. Anyway, this is just moving on into the book, into the story, into the pages. I mean, you know, they're all here. You know what I mean?
Powering off.
Oh shit! Well, I'm not playing anything anyway. But yeah. Just wanted to give a little bit of that because I keep saying the book. Well, I wanted to read a couple pages, like I said, and then this kind of freestyle a little bit of the stuff that was around it, like I just did. And what's crazy is you go back and you remember these things, and you're just like fuck, but you're thinking them at a different in a different perspective because you're older, you know. But you're trying to figure out, you're trying to explain like what you were thinking and what was going on at the time, you know. What was cool is that my mom used to go to work, and me and Johnny and his dad used to have his Harley. He used to put me on the back of him. I used to hold on to his belt buckles, and he used to put Johnny in front of him, facing him. Johnny was just a little fucking kid, and we used to go from Pico Rivera all the way to East Los to Johnny's dad's mom's house, to my abuelita's on Townsend, right there by the pet shop on Brooklyn and Townsend. And we'd go over there, and we'd hang out there. That was another hangout for us. That was another house that we grew up in. And that house, they were very proper, they still are, very, I don't want to say, I guess, distinguished Mexicans. Like they, you eat your food right. You eat with your mouth closed. You hold your spoon a certain way. You do this. Learned a lot of that there. Ate a lot of good food, a lot of fresh food. I used to eat eggs straight from the chickens right there for breakfast. Oh, and another thing my daddy Tony used to do is before we left the house to go to his mom's pad, he used to give us something to eat. We would either have bananas and milk, just for a quick little, put something in your body, or he would cook us the half-boiled eggs, the soft-boiled eggs, so that it was still, you still had the yolk inside and stuff or whatever, but you still had like the hard-boiled shell a little bit. And he put it in a coffee cup for us, and we mixed it up, put a little bit of lemon. Shit, that stuff was good. And we had that for breakfast. Yeah, the yolk was kind of runny. Yeah. Those were fun times. And then, so then we would go to my abuelita's house on Townsend, and she made the best sopa. She made sopa, meaning like the little stars or the little shells or whatever. It was mainly the stars. She used to cook. What's up, Cultura? She used to cook that so good. It was a little bit watery, but not so watery. That shit tastes so good. I used to get like seconds and thirds of that shit. It wasn't shit, but you know what I mean. And it was pretty trippy, man. It was pretty trippy being there and having all these things. And then my daddy Tony would I'll do it one day, honeybees. I'll do it on a live. I'll cook. I'll make that stuff. It doesn't take too long. My daddy Tony used to make this shrimp soup. Oh my god, that shrimp soup! Even though he would put serranos in it, and it would be a little bit spicy. Fucking, I loved it. I didn't care about the spice. It tasted so good. I loved when the house smelled like it. I actually make my own version of it to this day. When I was older, I asked him to come by, and I asked him if he could show me how to do it, and he said, "Well, come by Abuelita's house, and I'll cook it right there. I'll make it for you, but I'll teach you as I'm doing it." I said, "All right." So he taught me his way, and then I kind of modified it to my way, and now I got my own recipe, but off of his thing, you know. And I mean, my babe will tell you the fucking. And then she helped me out too. She helped me change my soup out a little bit too, because when I got with her, she was like, "Well, how about we add this and this?" And I was like, "Yeah, you're probably right, babe." And then we fucking made it into our own little thing now. But she still likes when I cook it, and I appreciate that. She's a blessing. She's a blessing. She's such a blessing. Um, and it's her birthday today, so happy birthday, babe. Um, I said that last night after 12, but she's been busy. Anyway, yeah, the soup, going over there to Townsend. I had these different spots that I rocked, and then I got to know the kids in each area. Over on Townsend, I would hang out with my cousin Renee, who was about my age, and then the neighbor Daryl, he's a homie, and then the homie Primo down the street. We used to ride our bikes and stuff. And then on Bonnie Beach, man, forget it. Well, it was me and my cousin Anthony and Joey, and there was always people at my grandmother's house on Bonnie Beach. We used to call it Grand Central Station because my uncle's friends would come over. My Uncle Edward, he had a lot of friends, and you never knew who was going to come through at any given moment. Just pop up and say, "Hey, what's going on, peeps?" Who would come with a badass car, or who knows what the fuck, My uncle was building cars and bikes there. It was a good time as a kid. There was no laptops or tablets. We played in the street. We played in the dirt. We made up games. You know what I mean? That's what it's about. We got busted up and shit. Fuck it. That's what we do. It was good times. So over on Bonnie Beach, I got to meet, some of the guys around the neighborhood and stuff. And, there was these guys on the block behind us, the record boys. We used to call them whatever. We used to play football against them on the street. We used to play touch football on the street. And that's where I met my lady. She was a couple of the guys' sister right there. And eventually we ended up getting together and doing our thing. But yeah, there's a lot of history right there and good memories. Good memories. The bikes, the skateboards, going with, because we lived on the beginning of the hill, so we still had a hill. We used to go to the top of the corner on the skateboards, sitting down and just go down like luge. But it was dangerous because you never knew if a car was going to be backing out of a driveway. Luckily, we never ran into a car. And then on the BMX bikes, we used to go a couple blocks out or whatever. There used to be a track that some of the kids made from record with berms and a couple of jumps right there in an empty lot. And we used to all go right over there. But that kind of got boring. We go a couple of laps around there, and then we go down a couple streets over here, and then over the hill over here, and then over there. We used to just go all over, just ride. And we get to know some of the kids around the neighborhoods and shit. And, "Hey, what's up, man?" It was a good thing. And then the corner store was always there. Go get our snacks. We go to the Plunge. We go to either up on the hill at City Terrace, or we go down to El Hoyo, to Obregon Park, where they had the pool there too, the public pool for the kids in the summer. We used to walk there, we used to tell them, "We're going to go." "All right, you got your towels?" "Yeah, okay." We would just go on our own. We'd I'd let my dad know, or my grandmother, or my uncles, whoever was looking out for us at the time. We're gonna go to go swimming. "All right, where are you gonna be? Which one?" "Well, we're gonna go to Hoyo. We're gonna go to Obregon." "Okay." Or we'll be up the hill at City Terrace. "Okay." We hardly went to City Terrace because it's a fucking mean climb, the walking up the hill. But we had great times. We had really good times. That's all I gotta say is that I feel blessed at the time that I dropped in. And like I said in the beginning, it's a wonder that I'm even here, you know? um, but I'm glad, and life life is something that we should not take for granted, um, and each other either. Still got a lot way to go, a lot of way to go. But this book is just I want people to know where I came from and how I did not join a gang and how I stood out of being in a gang. Music helped me out. My Uncle Steve helped me out. So many people helped me out. I started looking at things and I was like, well, I don't want to be one of those ever. Even though some of my friends were and I hung out with them, I was like, no, that's not for me, man. You know, it's a trip. It's a trip. It's a fucking trip. Like I said, I started off this thing saying, you know, what did I say in the beginning right there? Check it out. I said, what a trip. Life started, blah, 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 you know. That's what it is. But I wanted to give you some of that. Shit, I was an outside kid climbing trees, riding bikes. That's right, honeybees. That's right. Hell yeah. You know, and then there's all kinds of little stories of when we're outside playing and shit that happened. I'll get to that another time. But I just wanted you guys to hear a little bit of it, you know that it's coming. And then just wait till I get to, like, you know, fucking us throwing Halloween parties and shit and fucking with cars. 3 bugs racing at 3 a.m. from East Los to fucking El Sereno in under fucking 2 minutes. Allegedly going through every fucking red light we saw. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot to come. And I appreciate you guys that came in here and, you know, listened to a little bit of this and stuff. I'm going to end this right now. Because if I play music, then I'll have to take it down. And you know what? Might as well leave it up for people to fucking listen to tomorrow or whatever. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end this. Probably check out what Bean is doing. I don't know if I'm gonna get back on. It's really late, but I'll probably see what Bean is up to, and then call it a night myself. You know, getting to know the crust. So you guys are gonna know a lot about the crust once that book comes out. But I just, you know, I keep talking about the book, and I figured, hey, you know, let me read them a little bit about it and then talk a little bit about it. So that's the deal, right? And that fucking title still has not came to me. It'll come to me. I know it will, but I still don't know what to call it. So you guys be cool. I appreciate you guys heavily. And, you know, we'll see how it goes, man. So anyway, damn, this beer's still almost full. All right, guys, I'm gonna go check out Decking and Drinking. I didn't like the title of what he said when he was getting on. He said the Bean Show, this show. He shouldn't be alone at all. But I needed to do this. I had to do this anyway. Y'all be cool. Crust of love to everybody. All right. All right. Peace. Late. Snort the beer. What a fucking guy. Excuse me. Whoa. Probably good I did that because it was already getting warm. Don't go over there. No, man. I'm cool with them. I don't know if you have beef with them or not, but Bean helped me out, putting me up on there. I jumped out. I popped out of that, hanging out with them, and of course, I put myself where I am, but that's not to say that they didn't help out either. And they know, we all got to grow and get our own channels going and stuff. It's just a part of it. But always go back and give them support. And if you guys don't mess with them, you don't mess with them. It's cool. I'm here. Like I said, I might not get back on. Because then that would mean I have to set this up downstairs and put on some music. Do a little boom, 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 boom. But it's getting a little bit later, and I do have to work in the morning. We'll see. You guys will know. If you see it pop up again, then he's coming on. But if I do, I'm not going to be on for long. I know I say that all the time, but I got to start doing that for real. Like cutting it short. I'll go long when I know I can. But other than that, I'll probably have to keep it short. Anyway, that being said, you guys, once again, thank you. I'll see you, okay? Right, bye. What I gotta do, I gotta go here and do this, and then over here and do this.